What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the final read. Best bets right here on Forward Progress, presented by FanDuel. We are part of the Hammer Betting Network. I'm Rob Pizzola, leading the charge through the entire Week 16 slate, breaking down each game as best as we can. If we like something, we lock it in using the hammer system. Triple hammer, 3 units, double hammer, 2, single hammer, 1. Quick reminder, it's Thursday. Limits are getting higher on these games. The market's getting sharper. A lot of the info we're going to talk about is baked into the price. It's not an excuse. It's just context for you as a viewer or listener. You can do whatever you want with all of that. Cards loaded. Hammers ready. Joining me today, Austin Mock from The Athletic. Austin was supposed to be me, you, and Suuma today, but I think Suma's had a little bit too much mulled wine in Germany over the holidays, and he's not available. I was looking up some German mulled wines. This Glühwein sounds delicious.
Nice. Tis the season. Might have to try something new this year for you north of the border here.
Red wine, cinnamon sticks, cloves, citrus, little sugar. I can mess with that.
Cooking something up there.
I can mess with that. Suuma hopefully will be back with us next week, but seriously, he's under the weather. So it's just going to be myself and Austin. And myself and Austin have had a really good year here on Forward Progress Bets. An absurdly good year where, I've been telling people for a long time, maybe want to pump the brakes on tailing, but another winning week last week. We swept the consensus triple hammer, Commanders and Giants over. So that earned us a bunch of units there. As a whole, the Thursday show is 75 and 57 this year. Our ROI is 10.2%, picking into a pretty efficient market. Myself, 28 and 17, Austin, 24 and 18. Anyone who's tailed the entire show is up something like 30 units, which is it's pretty legit, Austin. Feels good. Yeah. Feels better than past years. Maybe you're the difference for us this year.
Yeah, it feels good. Like I keep telling myself, it's gonna slow down. Like, no, we're still each week the hammers are still landing. So hopefully we can keep it rolling one more.
All right, let's do that. Let's start with Saturday, and we'll go Saturday night because the NFC North lead is at stake. You got Chicago hosting Green Bay. A Bears win potentially clinches playoffs amidst some tiebreaker stuff. Green Bay's dominated this rivalry, albeit against very different Bears teams. 14 straight road wins over Chicago, though the Packers are now without Micah Parsons for the season. And looking at the market here, Austin, market's moved out towards Chicago a little bit. We got some announcement today on their wide receivers. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, likely going to miss this game. They are going to miss this game. They've been downgraded to out. So that's something to take into account. And on that news, Green Bay did get bet in some spots. So we're kind of at like a true pick'em in this game now, Austin.
Yeah, this is probably, I think, the most interesting game for me, just to see what the Packers defense looks like without Parsons. Like every year that he's been in the league, when he's been off the field, the defense has just plummeted. And I think it just speaks to, you can line him up in different spaces. You don't have to blitz with him because of how much pressure and chaos he generates himself, and how much easier he makes, how much easier he's going to make Rashawn Gary and the rest of that defensive line. So Green Bay's lived without blitzing too this year. And I don't know if that's going to go. They tried to blitz Caleb the last time these guys played a couple weeks ago, and he actually, Caleb played well in that game. So that's kind of the read that I want to go. And based on that, it's painful because of the receivers. Wish we got better news. I'm going single hammer on the Bears money line at -104. Again, I just can't look past how much value Parsons brings to the defense. And last time, the Bears ran 67% success rate on the ground, just getting whatever they wanted. They've done this run game has been cooking for, it seems like, most of the year now. Like it took them a little bit to get going, and now they're just steamrolling opponents. And I think if you're taking Parsons out of the pass rush, you're still going to be able to run the ball. I don't know if I trust the rest of this Packers defense. So it's tough without those pass catchers, but I think Parsons is the bigger deal here. So single hammer, Bears money line -104. Let's kick it off with a winner there.
Yeah, so I agree with you slightly. Not enough to use this as a hammer play, but it's more than Parsons. Well, first and foremost, the Bears' identity lately has been run heavy anyways, right? And we saw this matchup a few weeks ago, exactly like you mentioned, where Chicago just had whatever they wanted on the ground in the second half of that game. So Green Bay needs to make some adjustments there. But then on the other side of the ball, Zach Tom, 3 straight DNP. He's officially listed as questionable, but there's some doubt as to whether or not he's going to play, which is a blow to the offensive line. You got Christian Watson, who, again, up in the air. Who knows if he's going to finish the game. So it's not just Micah Parsons either. Ultimately, I mean, both these offenses posted some pretty decent games against the defenses last time around. I thought that the 28-21 final in Green Bay's favor was a little bit misleading. I mean, it just kind of came down to the final possession. They scored a touchdown, but I don't want to say that the Bears wide receivers don't matter, because they do, but so much of what they're doing, Austin, is focused on the run game. I think if they can establish that, this is a good spot here.
Yeah, and it's diverse too. Like, it's not just like one concept that they're just really good at. They're good at like Ben Johnson's one of the best play callers in the league. Yeah, he hasn't lost that ability with when he's been assuming head coaching roles in head coaching duties when he's in Chicago. He has, I think he's probably been the most impressive part of this Bears turnaround. Is just they have this run game that seems, I don't want to say unstoppable, because you never know week to week, but if it's just like I've seen enough progression from Caleb. He's still not perfect, but like when you get this run game going, it just makes everything so much easier for him. And man, I know running backs don't matter. That's been the culture, definitely with like analytically sound people. But like when the run game is cooking, it's a tough. Like their run game's good enough where it's not a negative play. Like every time they're running it. So that's the edge for me, even without the pass catchers.
Well, our earlier game on Saturdays in the NFC East, the Eagles looking to clinch the division title against the Commanders team that just shut down quarterback Jaden Daniels for the season. It's Marcus Mariota again. Maybe equally as important, Laramie Tunsil, their left tackle, ruled out today for this game as well. And the market has just now settled on 7 everywhere across the board. Total in the game, 44.5. I don't have strong thoughts here, Austin, personally. I do lean slightly under. The challenge is that the Commanders' defense is so bad that it gives you pause. The Eagles started to do a few different things offensively last week against the Raiders, which, by the way, you're waiting till week 15 against the Raiders to start making some adjustments, but they had Jalen Hurts on the move a little bit more. He looked better in that game, and they were able to move it on the Raiders defense. So that worries me here, but with Tunsil being out, that Eagles front that's gotten much better as the year's gone on in terms of pass rush, I think they could really eat in this game.
Yeah, obviously I was multiple times trashed the Commanders defense last week, and I was like, okay, let's look towards the over again. And then I saw the Eagles offense, and I was just like, dang, that's not the team, not the team to be betting overs in. But yeah, like if they're gonna run Hurts, like it's like nothing's been working for them. They haven't been able to run the ball. They haven't been able to throw the ball. Nothing. They can't generate explosives. They can't throw it deep. They can't throw it short. Like the one thing they didn't try all year was run Hurts. And whether that was like, hey, we're just going to try to keep him healthy, whatever the reason is, it got to the point though where it was like, hey guys, this is a just bad offense. Like I think you need to turn it up. Granted, they kept winning games, so maybe that was part of it. But if they're going to run Hurts more, like I don't know how Washington get stops here. Like I talk about this, how slow they are. I don't love the matchup here. They're not good against pass, not good against run. I don't know if I'm in the business of laying 7 with the Eagles. That's the tough part for me, because I also seem like they'll just sit on a lead. I don't think they're gonna try to push this out. But man, I my numbers actually do, like you, lean towards the under, which terrifies me. But again, no Tunsil, and this Eagles defense is great. I can't get the Commanders' slow defense out of my head.
I'm with you, and they give up a lot of explosives as well. I mean, it's pretty marginal for me, and I just haven't been quite able to get there. I do imagine Washington goes pretty run heavy without Tunsil as well. This turns into a drop back game for Mariota if they're trailing from wire to wire, and that's what I'd be a little bit more scared about, turnovers and things of that nature. But not much that I'm doing with Philadelphia and Washington. We're going to move on to the Sunday card in just a second here, but a reminder, FanDuel's making Week 16 even bigger with a chance to win a share of $2 million in bonus bets tonight. That's right, $2 million. Here's how it works. You opt in, you place an anytime touchdown bet on Seahawks Rams using your profit boost. If the player you pick scores either the first or the last touchdown of the game, you earn a share of $2 million in bonus bets, $1 million for each touchdown. Just looking at the odds screen right now, I mean, FanDuel's got a really good price on Puka Nacua. They got a really good price on Tutu Atwell. Those are some decent options out there in market. It's just one more reason to bet on the NFL with FanDuel. Whether you got a feeling about that opening drive or you're banking on a clutch finish, now is the time to get in the game. Visit FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to download the app today and get started. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, 19 plus and located in Ontario, 18 plus in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Must apply profit boost token on select market. Prize pool split equally amongst all eligible participants who made the correct first or last touchdown pick. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. They expire 21 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Terms are at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/Chad in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York, or call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right, let's get back into things here and let's move to our Sunday card. The NFC South title is hanging in the balance right now. 7-7 Tampa Bay visits Carolina. Winner will grab the tiebreaker edge in the divisional showdown. These rivals have seen overs hit in a lot of the recent games. That was kind of my first look here, Austin. As the week has gone on, I'm off it a little bit. I have a strong lean to one side, but I know you do as well. So I'm going to give you the floor here.
Yeah, so I've kind of been anti-Bucks all year, and they're getting healthier. That's been one of the things. They've been just limping through the season, it seems. But I I can't get to this price. I know there's injuries on the Panthers side of things, the Kwanu on the offensive line. I can't get here, even if I announce him out. So double hammer for the Panthers here, +3 -110 over at FanDuel. One thing that I enjoy, like the Bucks haven't been able to hit much on offense, definitely since Baker kind of had that oblique injury. They just really haven't been there. I know they've been banged up, but the one area that they've been like the key in this game is for me is they've been very good at play action, and they've been killing teams with that. And Carolina is very good at defending play action. So whether that's just like their philosophy on defense is like, hey, don't bite. If the team wants to run the ball, go ahead. We've seen that kind of been a new trend in the league, is just let a team get 4 or 5 yards and we'll live to not give up a bomb. So that's if we're gonna have to have Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield kind of methodically drive down the field. I don't know if I love them laying points in this game. And I don't know if there's anything to the whole Panthers. You know, they've beaten the Packers and the Rams in the last month and a half. They've lost to the Saints twice. I think the Saints might be a little bit better than we're giving credit for. So I don't think those losses are as bad as they are. But I just at home, Carolina at home +3 with being good at the one thing that Tampa Bay is getting consistently good at, which is the play action pass, is the angle that I like here. But double hammer, I can't get to this price. No matter how I shape it with injuries to get it away from Carolina, I think this is too many points.
Yeah, I'm with you. I did consider this for my hammer selections as well, and then ultimately decided on a few other ones. But you know, people don't really talk about how much like Tampa Bay's defense is struggling, right? I mean, Bryce Young and the Panthers offense are very capable of moving the ball against that unit, especially at home. Carolina's biggest issue is finishing drives. Tampa Bay's defense has quietly become one of the worst red zone units in the entire league. So that helps for Carolina. On top of that, if Ike Ekwonu's out, which I don't want to say it's not a big blow, but you look at the pass rushers that Tampa Bay has, you know, who's their best pass? Yaya Diaby, maybe. Like they're not like this bona fide edge rushing team that is capable of taking advantage of that. And even a lot of the Todd Bowles stuff, Austin has kind of worn off over time. I'm with you on price. Definitely Tampa has got to be upgraded on offense, having the full complement of Mike Evans, Bucky Irving back as like a dynamic back. But I definitely see Carolina being able to hang around in the game.
Yeah, they're also like the Tampa Bay defense. You might look at like pressure rate; they're up there like near the top 5, and like they blitz at such a high rate that it's almost like not as impressive, right? You have to kind of adjust for that. So that's one of the things. Like I think it's easier when you have to blitz that heavy. It's like you can't be super diverse on the back end. So like I don't want to say it's easier for Bryce Young to kind of know what's happening, but like, hey, if you know where the blitz is coming from, they can only do so much on the back end. So it kind of, if you can find where it's coming from, maybe there's it's easier for Young to move the ball. And again, we've seen it. He's been fine. I don't think he's great or anything, but Bryce Young is, like you said, they moved the ball. Their issue is just finishing drives. So, but yeah, field goal on the road. I can't see this. I just can't get to the price. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah, Panthers to me have a very inconsistent offense, and I don't really want anything to do with them against like really quality defenses. I wouldn't put that into the category. So I'm seeing this game the same as you're seeing it. We'll keep it in the NFC right now. Minnesota's late push for some pride, I guess, meets the Giants' 8-game losing streak. Two rookies spotlighted in this game. JJ McCarthy played fairly well the last couple games. Jackson Dart, I would argue, has not. The Giants defense, man, they've allowed over 31 points per game during this 8-game losing streak. It's just terrible. I mean, watching them try to move the ball against the Commanders last week was, as someone who alongside you, Austin, had the over in that game, that was a true privilege. The issue I have here is I'm not really getting the price that I wanted for Minnesota, especially now it's been bet out in a lot of spots. Plus the offensive line situation for them right now, with Darisaw not practicing, O'Neal not practicing, Ryan Kelly not practicing, that kind of, it dampens it a little bit for me. Like I'd like to find a way to back the Vikings in here, but I just kind of want to wait it out.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. At the current market prices, I think there's just nothing for me to do. Dart, as like, I know he's exciting. I think he's falling into the like exciting quarterback type. I think he's been this the whole way, even before, like in his first couple starts. I don't know if it's as efficient as we want it, like, or as it's being made out to be. He plays a wild style, and like obviously, the 5 concussion checks since the preseason is an issue there. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's kind of similar thing. I don't know if I'm really wanting to. I know it's 2.5 juiced heavily at FanDuel. I don't know if I'm willing to say that the Vikings are winning by a field goal at that much with that price. I know McCarthy's been better. It's been against bad defenses. The Giants are in that category, but I guess that is the one upside is like, hey, when you're playing bad defenses, we should see progress. We did not see that from JJ McCarthy early in the year, but we have seen a turn in the corner. But at the current market, I'm not too interested, despite I think it's an intriguing game from seeing where these teams like trending towards the end of the season, but nothing from a betting perspective right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that there's a real advantage for the Vikings on the ground. They've generated a lot of explosive runs this year. The Giants haven't been able to stop the run against anyone. But when you end up looking at the O-line, you're looking at like cluster injuries at all the premium spots. And even a bad defense can start to look competent if they're playing against a backup laden offensive line that's on the road, who's, listen, not a huge home field advantage for, a December game is kind of meaningless for the Giants outside of draft implications. But it's kind of like one of those, Austin, where there's so many reasons I can find to take Minnesota, and then I just can't get over the hump. Maybe that changes tomorrow with the final injury reports, but not much for me to do on that one. Let's switch over. We got the Chargers looking to punch a playoff ticket with a win over Dallas, who's been fading. It's Justin Herbert against a Cowboys pass defense that's dead last in yards allowed, seemingly letting every quarterback move down the field. But you also have the Chargers O-line, which has been the great equalizer in recent weeks. A little early money showed for Dallas in this game, driving this one out to 2 across the entire market. Most of the market painted 49.5 for the total as well. Anything you're seeing here, Chargers and Cowboys?
Yeah, I thought if you would have asked me a couple of days ago, I would have thought I'd probably lean Chargers here. But with Quinnen Williams trending upwards, I was kind of shocked by that. Looks like he might be able to give it a go. That's just, I know the defense hasn't, we kind of got, I don't know if it's fool's gold the first couple games. They were playing some bad offenses, but they were pretty good. Like, it was like, hey, all right, maybe this is changing. They've been able to generate pressure him in the middle interior is a problem. That's been exposed, but I don't know if the Chargers are the team to be able to take advantage of that. If there's like if he's not in there, I can see a better path for them. Like they'll be able to run the ball a little bit better. Maybe that makes life easier in the passing game. But if you're going to tell me the Quinnen Williams is going, I don't know what we're getting out of like the Chargers offense has not been good. The defense has been carrying them through the second half of this year. So I can't get behind them. It's kind of no man's land anyway. But it was a slight lean towards the Chargers with my numbers, but with Quinnen Williams in there, I think the defensive line for the Cowboys can disrupt enough to where I don't know if the Chargers can consistently take advantage of just the horrible pass defense, or secondary, I should say, for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm with you. I have nothing here on side or total. The Chargers offense is held together with duct tape up front, basically at this point. Like losing Joe Alt and then having to patch together the tackles has turned like every obvious passing situation into survival mode for Justin Herbert. I mean, some of the pressure numbers have been absurd. Dallas is not like a bona fide edge rush type of team, but they can disrupt the pocket. They've been decent at that this year. A lot of their pressure has not translated into sacks necessarily. I just worry that maybe the Chargers defense is a little bit underrated right now as well. And they're a very good tackling team. They keep a lot of stuff in front of them. They're not great at they don't give up a lot of explosives necessarily. And that kind of forces Dallas to move down the field and not take those negative plays. And that's kind of been a problem for them in recent weeks. Penalties on the offensive line. I mean, left tackle has been with Tyler Guyton out. They had Nate Thomas get hurt last week in game, and that completely, flipped the course of that game as well. So to me, it's tough. I think this is kind of has to be the range for both the side and the total. I don't see a lot to do here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. When you like not only did Joe Alt get hurt, but like the guys that have been playing, like Becton's been in and out of the lineup, like banged up. He's been in and out of games. Like I feel like he takes like a quarter off and then tries to come back in. Like, so you're also like, I think you can make an argument some of the guys are playing like well below 100% as well. So it's just like, I don't know if you said it this game or the last game, like when you're playing a bad offensive line, like you can turn into a pretty good looking defense. And I think that's pretty much been every Chargers opponent for the last probably month plus because of how bad this offensive line is.
Yep. I was talking with another a fellow bettor about the Chargers this week, and we are kind of debating back and forth. And I rewatched Chargers and Chiefs, and Justin Herbert, I think when he makes those throws like he did at the end of the first half, which was 2 throws going down the field, but like rockets into really, really good spots. You're like, wow, this guy can overcome everything. But then you forget how bad the offense is the rest of the time, really. I do think that there's a path to Dallas here, but I'm not quite there in terms of price. We'll go to the AFC. Buffalo pushing for some good AFC seeding against a rookie-led Cleveland in what's going to be some pretty chilly conditions. The Browns, I mean, I don't know what more there is to say about them. Dead last in passing efficiency. Doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. They've struggled to move it offensively. Buffalo generating a lot of explosive runs since midseason. Offense really rounded into form in the second half against the Patriots last week, Austin. The current market right now, pretty much Buffalo 10.5 across the board. Total's been bet down to 41.5. And we were sharing some notes off air. We agree on this total, but you have a lot more conviction than I do.
Yeah, it's a little bit painful because of how much higher it was. I think when you were doing Sunday Reset with Clive, we were seeing it at like 43 or maybe
43.5.
Yeah. I am dead on this under 41.5 minus 110 triple hammer. I think there is some wind. I think we're seeing like more north of 15 miles per hour, maybe up to 20. There's some gusts into the 30s. So like, obviously that's going to be a factor here. But the injury report for Cleveland is like bad, like offensive line gutted. It's a long list, and they already couldn't, like you were saying, they can't move the ball. Doesn't matter who plays quarterback. I guess there's a little bit more explosiveness with Shedeur Sanders because he's more, I guess, willing to throw down the field. But if you're like the Buffalo defense is, I think issue on Buffalo, like as my model believes in them. And if you're going to tell me that Cleveland's not going to have anywhere close to a healthy offensive line, like I don't know what the ceiling is for this Browns offense. And then on the other side, game script wise, the Bills have just been bludgeoning people with this run game.
Yeah.
The past couple weeks, and I think you might have said on Sunday Reset it might be similar to the Steelers game from a couple weeks ago, where they just like, hey, we'll just lean on this, and eventually the defense will just tire out. The Browns have been run on a good bit for the last couple weeks as well, with some injuries to the defensive line there. So yeah, I just think this game script kind of plays through. I don't know if Buffalo is looking to get out ahead and win by a ton here. So I don't think they're going to be throwing it around, and they're more than willing to just, hey, let's just pound the rock, run this clock, and get out of here. So under 41.5. Hopefully the weather stays bad, because that would be unfortunate. But even then, like this is like a alt total under type of thing because of the shape of this Cleveland offensive line. So that's my triple hammer under 41.5 in Bills and Browns.
Yeah, so I'm in agreement there. My numbers directly actually lean towards the Browns here, and I think it's because there's a lot of situations where, first and foremost, Buffalo's a team that starts very slow for the most part. Don't know what it's been for them this year, but a lot of conservative play calling to start games. They've kind of struggled in first halves, but they also, when they do end up getting the lead, they are extremely run-heavy team, and that plays into the under. But it also helps the underdog in a lot of those situations. But at the end of the day, like you said, Austin, like the offensive line situation's hanging over everything. I mean, they've already lost their starting center for the year. You have multiple players concussed or dealing with lower body injuries. If 3 or 4 of those guys sit, this becomes a really ugly matchup for Shedeur Sanders in a trailing game state. This is someone that already takes a lot of negative plays, holds the ball for a long period of time. Bills have a decent edge rush as well. So I'm with you. I think it's under or nothing in this game, and you're going to go ahead and lock that in as your triple hammer. All right. Keep it in the AFC here. The eliminated Chiefs. Sans Patrick Mahomes, Sans Rashee Rice, Gardner Minshew in there against a Titans team, winless at home and eyeing a top draft pick. What a game. KC 1-7 in one-score games this year. Tennessee averaging the league's lowest yards per pass. It's been, I mean, this is going to be a privilege, or a priv, as Eager used to say. Current market right now is sitting at KC laying 3 points on the road at Tennessee. Total's been bet down in most spots to 37.5. This is a really tough game to handicap with all the moving parts, Austin.
Yeah, I think when you see Minshew is one of the better. I don't think he's like a good backup, but like he can, run an offense and kind of move the ball. But I don't know if we've seen him behind an offensive line that the Chiefs are going to be rolling out there. And that worries me, even though but then on the other side, Titans are so bad. So it's like, you just keep like swaying back and forth to both sides. And I actually, like, numbers wise, again, it's a very difficult game to price, super high variance game in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But I actually lean a little bit towards the over, just because like this is a low total, and like Minshew has shown some capability. I mean, the interception he threw at the end of the game was horrific, but it's just one of the, like, I think he can maybe move the ball, but it's a tough game for me to price. Really hasn't even been on my radar, but numbers wise, I think the spread's pretty fair, but it's painful, but I have a slight lean towards the over, and I'm pretty good on acknowledging that edge at this point.
Yeah, listen, if this number holds at 3, I personally think it's Tennessee or nothing. You get a backup quarterback stepping in, and listen, some might say, well, Minshew he's a fine backup, and he is. But you've got Rashee Rice in concussion protocol. You're basically down an entire tackle group on the offensive line. That's a lot to overcome on the road in the NFL, even against the Titans defense that has injuries. I mean, both starting safeties are on IR. They have their own issues, but structurally, all season long, you look at the efficiency splits for Kansas City and their pass game, they're Mahomes driven. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think you would just copy and paste those numbers onto Gardner Minshew behind a banged up offensive line. I mean, Gardner Minshew will make more mistakes, and he's not Patrick Mahomes, even if Mahomes isn't at his peak. So Tennessee's offense is still ugly. I get that, but they at least have the healthier side of the trenches. They're catching a full field goal at home against a backup QB and a gutted offense. So it's a small lean, but it's Titans or nothing for me.
Yeah, I do think on the points for Mahomes, like I don't think he's been like elite this year. And like there's been some misses, but I think it's been highlighted by the fact that they're 1-7 in one-score games. I think he's been like a huge band-aid for that offense. Like his out of structure, he's been incredible with and their tackle issues. Like I don't think Minshew, if he has to live in that environment, like the drop off is more than what we're used to seeing from like the Minshew, and what the data we have on from Minshew is not what Mahomes has had to do for them. So like I think he's been a little bit of a band-aid for the issues, the personnel issues that they've had on the offensive line with injuries and whatnot. So yeah, that'll be an interesting. Laying with the state of this offensive line, Gardner Minshew laying a field goal on the road, I'm good.
and like, let's not forget about like Mahomes' elusiveness and his ability to scramble as well. Like if they can't move the ball with Mahomes behind this,
no run game.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's the other thing. Like there's no run game to help out Minshew either. So yeah, it's like, are we confident that he's just going to be able to drop back and like layer some balls in all over the place? I don't know.
I'm with you. It's not a game that I love. I find these like cluster injury type of games hard to price, but listen, you try to price them regardless. It's just Titans offensively been a little bit better as well. It's not crazy. 48% success rate to San Fran last week. Yeah, granted, trailing game state. 31 against Cleveland. Yeah, granted, trailing game state, but
it's something.
Better ability to move the ball for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Keeping it in the AFC, 2 eliminated squads squaring off in Miami as Quinn Ewers gets the start post Tua, emphasizing, I think in this game, the Miami run game against Cincinnati's run defense. The Bengals give up a league worst 158 rushing yards per game. Miami's explosive rush rate ranks 3rd in the NFL. Current market sits at 4 in most spots. 47.5 being the total. I'm going to play Miami here as my double hammer play, Austin. We'll mark whatever the current market is, but this move from the Bengals -1.5, -2 through the 3 up to 4, 4.5 now. On the Quinn Ewers news feels like a big overreaction to me. Like, yes, Tua to a rookie in his first start is a downgrade, but Tua's version of this offense has completely lost the ability to push the ball down the field, and he was turning it over on top of that. Ewers is going to make some rookie mistakes, but at least he gives you an arm that can access more of the field. He's stepping into one of the friendliest ecosystems in the league with Mike McDaniel, an elite speed group around him. More importantly, like I mentioned, Miami has just like a massive on-paper edge on the ground. And if you look at the Bengals injury report this week, they are missing defensive linemen everywhere. I mean, this is the run defense has completely fallen apart. Bottom of the league in yards per carry, explosive runs allowed, all of it. So if McDaniel leans into that, they protect Ewers, they hammer it up front. I think Miami's actually very live in this game. And I'm not going to get too narrative-y with the Cincinnati side and whatever Joe Burrow is going through, like his existential crisis. I'm not factoring that into a number, but if that's something, that's only a bonus for me. So fins up for me, Dolphins 4.5.
Yeah, this was first play off. If we had half hammers, this would be for me. I liked it. I think this, what you said about like the 3-ish point move that we've seen from Tua to this. This isn't I don't know if it's Tua's been a hard guy to price because like he did have this offense running. Like he was never going to be the like best quarterback in the league or anything like, but in like his role, he was very efficient. He wasn't maybe beating the best defenses in the league, but against like average-ish or worse, he was like efficiency numbers, explosiveness, all of it. He was doing it all. Now, like, I don't know, like I've seen some people on Twitter saying like you can tell he's like afraid to get hit and the accuracy is starting to go. And that's what he was good at. And it's like you said, it's a shell of what this offense was. So now when you bring in Ewers, like you said, you're going to open up more of the field. And I think again, when you have a run game that's going to be able to supplement Ewers, and he's not just going to have to drop back and do everything that he wants, I think that that's a world where, hey, we're going to have consistent ground game. You're not going to be in a lot of 3rd and 8s or 3rd and 9 or anything like that. And again, I think Mike McDaniel's awesome as a play caller. So I think he's going to give Ewers some easy reps here. So I like it. I think 4.5 is kind of wild. It's a super high variance game. Again, it's a rookie quarterback, first start. You never really know, but again, against all defenses, and you're going to have a run game advantage, that's a pretty decent spot to have your first start. So I do think there's some upside here with Miami. And I agree with you. I think they are for sure live in this game. They can definitely win.
Well, listen, I don't think Quinn Ewers is going to be anything in the NFL. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's very good. It's kind of a dream opponent to start against. I would it's not going against the Texans or something crazy like that, where, you're just
Philip Rivers.
This guy's just got no hope. Right. So that's kind of where I'm at in this game. And of course, Cincinnati can move the ball through the air. They probably will have some success through the air on the Dolphins secondary. But one thing about the Dolphins is that they're very run heavy, and it actually compresses the game as well. So whenever you're getting 4.5 points, there's likely to be less possessions. I like Miami in this spot. I'm going to use them as my double hammer this week. All right. The struggling Jets, fresh off of blowout losses, head to New Orleans to face a Saints team on a 2-game win streak, powered by rookie quarterback Tyler Shuck, who has surged recently. His odds coming down in the offensive rookie of the year market. New York's defense, Austin, has not snagged a single interception all season. They're the only team without one. It is nuts. They forced 1 turnover on defense all year long. And that's why you see the Saints priced where they're at right now, in addition to a lot of injuries in the secondary for the Jets. But market bet the Saints out a little bit further earlier today, out to 5.5 in some spots. Totals 40.5. This one is a total no-go for me. I kind of was thinking Saints early, and now that the market's betted out, it's just like, I'm going to wash my hands of this one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I don't really care. My numbers are right around market, so I have nothing here. Shuck's been fine, good for a rookie, right? And Kellen Moore is, I think, a good offensive mind. He's going to be able to give him the looks that he needs. I don't know how much of the interception thing do you think is just pure. Is it luck, or obviously a lot of it is. I don't know when the last time a team hasn't, if ever, not had an interception. They have 3 games to get an interception. That's got to be some kind of record here. But that, is it just bad defense? Is it luck? I guess because we don't have anything in this game, how do you handle that? Or I guess what are your thoughts on that? Are they a prime candidate to regress to the mean here, or what are you thinking with that?
I mean, if they hadn't had so much attrition on the defensive side of the ball, I would say I'm sure they've gotten unlucky if you can't expected turnovers versus actual this year. There's without a doubt that they've gotten unlucky, but we're at this point in the season, and it's absurd. Another bettor, he ran a script yesterday. I think it was from 2017 to 2025, weeks 1 through 15. The Jets have forced 1 defensive turnover. The other one was on special teams. It was a muff punt a couple weeks ago. The next lowest team from 2017 to 2025 was at 6. It's bordering on insane now. The real problem with the Saints is twofold for me. One is that they find themselves in a very different position this week, which is expected to win by margin versus expected to hang around and keep it close. They've really struggled in first halves of games as well. They don't separate. It's not until almost they need to score that they've been able to score. And then you look at, the offense, they put Devin Neal on IR today. Devon Vele is out. The skill position players are at running back are Audric Estime and Evan Hull. Chris Olave, Mason Tipton, Kevin Austin are their receivers. That's not really the profile of a team that I want to bet that's going to need to win by 6 or more.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing now. I don't know, this probably the most they've been favored by all year, or close to it, right? So yeah, when you get in these, it's kind of this, not on the same level, but this is the Steelers to me a little bit, where it's as a dog, it's a team you want to the Saints profile for me is a team that's a dog, or a coin flip type game. Okay, I want to beyond that. But winning by margin is different. Winning by margin in the NFL is a lot more difficult than people want to, or I think people realize. And like the elite quarterbacks are the ones that can do that. The others, like these games come down to pretty close all the time. That's why there's the witching hour on Red Zone. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not in the business of winning by more than a field goal here, just because we haven't seen it. They haven't been able to really do that all year. And like you said, they've come back in a lot of games, and that's probably not going to be the case on Sunday.
Yep, totally agree. All right, we're going to move on to the late window in just a second here. We are getting close to a big milestone here on Forward Progress, which would be 10,000 subs. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do. It genuinely helps us grow. Also, if you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button down below. Makes a big difference. And also, if you got any friends who bet they haven't discovered the hammer yet, they haven't discovered Forward Progress yet, send them our way. Tell them to sub to our stuff as well. We'd love to crack 10,000, and hopefully with your help, we can get there, because we're pumping out a lot of content here at the Hammer these days, and I truly believe in what we're doing. All right, late window, we got the Jags and Broncos. The Jags fighting for playoff positioning, as are the Broncos right now. Both squads are in the hunt in the AFC. Jacksonville's passing offense has got a lot better as the year has gone on, right after the Jacoby Myers trade. They find themselves as 3-point underdogs. Total in the game is 47 in most spots. We got some 46.5 out there as well, including at FanDuel. And that's where I'm going to go with my triple hammer for this week. I'm on the over here at 46.5. For those who watch the Sunday reset, you might be holding a better number. This was very similar to Giants Commanders last week, where it was pretty off market. And I don't know how much further this total can go above 47, but I'm in the 48 range right now. Jacksonville's offense is much better than the season-long numbers suggest. They've tilted more into downfield stuff with Brian Thomas Jr. Trevor Lawrence's sack rate has come way down. They've been top 10 in EPA per dropback ever since they acquired Jacoby Myers. And Denver's defense is still really good, especially at limiting explosives, but they're not getting home with pressure as consistently. And they do blitz zero at a top 3 rate as well. Jacksonville happens to be one of the best offenses in the league versus zero. If the Broncos lean on that, which they tend to do, they can get punished underneath. And on the other side, this is more of the handicap. Bo Nix is going to live in clean pockets again in this game. I mean, Denver's number 1 in adjusted sack rate. Jacksonville is bottom 5 in generating pressure. Even if the Jags keep everything in front, I still think the Broncos' sustained drives are very live. And now you add in that most of the injuries are on the defensive side of the ball for both teams. Brandon Jones was put on IR. You got a linebacker injury for the Broncos as well. Josh Hines-Allen nursing a shoulder injury right now as well. I just think this total is too low, Austin. So I'm going triple hammer, Jags, Broncos over. As a fellow totals bettor, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I had to get, like, I don't have a lean in that way, but like subjectively, I'm probably still late on the like Myers acquisition and what that's really done for them. Because like Jacksonville was like, you want to talk about a tale of two like seasons, like week 7, 8 or something. It was like, nah, this team's not like, the offense isn't going. The defense was so super turnover reliant. Like I would, now it's like, okay, Myers has really opened up. So like, I think that's one of the tough things for me is like how, you can kind of try to figure out how much a player's worth and whatnot. But then there's just these unlocking of something and I feel like Myers has really done that. And like Lawrence has been great too. Like, I don't know if it's just like that extra space that Myers has been able to give them. It helps when Brian Thomas Jr. is not dropping like 7 balls in the first 4 games of the year as well. But yeah, for like subjectively, I agree there. I don't have anything numbers wise, but the interesting thing for me with Denver though, as good as their defense is, and they kind of have, I think they're living a little bit more on their track record over the last few years. I don't love teams that have, like, again, similar to the Bucs. They have to blitz a ton to get, and like it leaves you vulnerable to explosives, and that's what the Jags have been really good at hitting lately. So yeah, I do think I kind of have a numbers lean towards Jacksonville in this. Like if this would come out to 3.5, I'd think about that. But I think that kind of just that's my handicap, is that I think I might be underrating the Jags offense, and I do think Denver's defense is maybe a touch overrated.
So Brian Thomas Jr., prior to the Jacoby Myers trade, had an ADOT of just under 13 yards. It's been almost 20 yards post-trade. So what Jacoby Myers has done is actually opened up a downfield passing game for Jacksonville. That's been the biggest thing for me, is they've shifted away from like check down Trevor, which I would like call him in the first half of the year, to a lot of out of structure vertical plays. And the Broncos are going to sit in one high a lot. They're going to play a bunch of man. Like you said, they're going to generate pressure through the blitz. That's going to leave these guys open one-on-one on the outside. And yeah, you have Patrick Surtain on one side, but it's not that side you're typically going to target. And there's always opportunity for the opposing team. So yeah, I am going over as my triple hammer. We'll stick in the AFC. The Raiders. I mean, what more is there to say? They're facing a red-hot Texans team that's on a 6-game win streak. They're gunning for the AFC South crown with one of the NFL's stingiest defenses, if not the stingiest defense. Austin Vegas has not ripped off a 20-plus yard run in 10 games. It is absurd at this point. These Raiders numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. We're up to 14 and a half in some spots, including at FanDuel right now. And I still can't convince myself to click the Raiders in this game. I mean, what is the path to success for Las Vegas moving the ball here? I'd love to hear it.
I don't know what price I'd need to get to like if it was 17, I'd still hate myself for it would be painful because we've talked about it multiple times. We talked about the Chargers. I think the Raiders have the worst offensive line in the league, and I don't really know if it's close. And they don't have the skill players to make a play. You can't hey, we're just Brock Bowers is good, but he's not that type of explosive downfield target. Definitely when you don't have any time to throw. They can't run the ball because the offensive line's everything they do. The defense has actually been respectable. Not they're not trash. I don't think they're an average unit, but they've been okay at times this year. But when you can't score now, whether it's Geno, whether it's Kenny Pickett, both of those guys have been horrible against pressure pretty much their entire career, and it's just such a bad matchup. I don't know. This is the best defense in the league, or at the worst, second best defense in the league. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the path to success is. The pass rush has been incredible for Houston all year long. They're going to be in the pocket all day. I don't know how what's the ceiling on points here for the Raiders? I don't know. Can they get over 14?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Tough. It should be noted that their left tackle Colton Miller has been practicing. There's a chance he gets activated. He's been limited. He was limited 3 times last week and so far this week as well. And that will help because he's a good left tackle. But they're against the Texans. I just don't see it being viable. And then listen, on the other side, CJ Stroud doesn't even need to be perfect in this game. I mean, the passing game has a very clear efficiency edge against the Raiders. The Raiders have quietly slid back down towards the bottom of the league in yards per attempt allowed. They've been making different corners inactive every week as well that aren't even on. I don't know what's going on there. If there was one team that was actively tanking, it would be the Raiders from what I've seen with inactives in recent weeks. But yeah, there's not much.
Would 17? Would you feel comfortable with the Raiders?
Well, my number is. So I would have a long conversation with myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but it's usually that'd be auto bet. It'd be a painful click. That's for sure.
The one thing I will say about Houston last week as someone who bet them was they never truly separated from the Cardinals in that game. I know the final is 40-20. I always felt uncomfortable with minus 9.5. Always at every point in that game. That's all I'll say. That doesn't mean anything though. Pittsburgh and Detroit, our next stop. Pittsburgh, a gritty, conservative team, I would call it, colliding with Detroit. Very explosive offense, averaging over 30 points per game. The Lions have generated the second most 30-plus yard plays offensively, but they've allowed the most defensively this season. So they've profiled as a big time over team. And that's why we're seeing this total where it is right now. 52 in most spots, 51.5 at FanDuel, which is best price in market on the over. A lot of shops have moved this out to a very expensive 6.5 like FanDuel, or even 7, Austin. Man, this Pittsburgh injury situation is not looking good for them right now.
Yeah, offensive line issues, defensive line issues. It doesn't look like TJ Watt's going to be able to come back from the lung injury, I guess is what you have to call it. Big one here is Derek Harmon might be back for them, which will help against the run game. Like if he was out, this to me, or if he doesn't play, this just feels like the Lions are going to run forever on them. So that's a big one for me. These two teams really, I can't stand either of them, to be honest with you. Like the Lions, as soon as I quit them, they're 35 points, like with ease, like explosives, efficiency down to down, boom. As soon as I'm like back on them, it's like just the defense is giving up like every first down on, like, teams aren't even getting the third down. So it's really hard for me to kind of, I guess, have confidence in each of these teams. I directionally lean towards the Steelers, but I also wonder if this is a game where the distribution kind of skews to like the Lions winning by margin more often here, because Rodgers, I don't know if he's the guy that can beat, like, is he going to throw downfield enough to like take advantage of a bad secondary, or like, are they going to get the explosives? That's I don't, like, the Steelers haven't been able to do that outside of that Ravens game where they, I think, surprised them and threw downfield as much a couple weeks ago. But I don't love the matchup for the Steelers, even though my numbers lean that way.
Yeah, I would say the Steelers have gone through some bad injuries in the last couple of weeks. At full health, I would almost certainly be looking to Pittsburgh here. But now I actually lean the other way. It's not even just TJ Watt. It's likely no Nick Herbig as well. Like that is massive for them from a pass rushing side of things. From stability on the O-line, they're down to basically 4-string left tackle. They lost Isaac Seumalo at left guard last game as well, and doesn't look like he's trending towards playing. I just don't love teams that are pretty beat up on both lines of scrimmage. And to your point, Austin, you know, that secondary for Detroit, I look at it every week. At least they'll get Thomas Harper back from a concussion. But are the Steelers going to be the team that's going to exploit that? Gut tells me no. Like
the Dolphins game was a blowout, but that game was like neck and neck at halftime. Like it was
3-0 Dolphins like midway through the second quarter.
Yeah, like it was never like, if you like didn't watch the second half, you'd be like, wow, how did the Steelers? I know the good Dolphins scored late to make it respectable, but that game was like the Dolphins were probably favored or close to it at half, like nearing halftime in that game. So I just don't know. Like you said, if they were healthy, if you could guarantee some guys back on the offensive line, I'd feel better. But I don't know if they're generating pressure. I don't know if they'll be able to stop the run. And at Detroit at home, it's like 35 points. It just sounds like. And I don't know if the Steelers can get to 28.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Especially, I mean, if this gets into trailing game state and Rodgers behind that O-line where he's still not 100% either himself, I don't love that scenario for them. I don't. All right. Late window as well. We got the Cardinals hosting the Falcons. Atlanta took some early money this week. In a lot of spots, they're now sitting -3, -105. FanDuel still has a -2.5, -120. I'd say, you know, you probably got about a quarter of the market still sitting on -2.5 in this game, Austin. And I'm going to round out by hammers this week with a single hammer on Atlanta -2.5, -120. It's another week of the same story for Arizona. Injuries. Their offensive line is a disaster. You're likely looking at 4 of 5 starting linemen either out, or it's probably going to be out unless Evan Brown returns from his, personal situation right now. That's just not workable in the NFL, especially with all the injuries they also have sprinkled throughout their skill position players, through their secondary. Even if Marvin Harrison Jr. makes it back, I'm not sure Brissett has the time to get him the ball downfield. Atlanta's defensive line isn't elite, but it's more than good enough to feast on this particular offensive front. They find creative ways to generate pressure. And on the other side, the Falcons have a very clean path. Like, you just lean into Bijan in the run game. Their man duo concepts, their yards after contact, their tackle breaking metrics, they're all near the top of the league. And Arizona's run defense is just bottom tier across the board. So I think it sets up as, better team in the trenches versus decimated roster type of game. I'm not sure the price has fully caught up to that just yet. I make this just like a shade over 3. So I'm going to take the Falcons in this one.
Yeah, I think the trench play is the difference for me. I don't have a huge lean or anything in this game, but Cousins has looked all right too. He's making it work. And the injury every week, man, I feel like it's been like since like week 3, the Cardinals injury report. We're just like, yeah, it's too long to name all the guys, so we're just going to tell you it's a lot. But yeah, Atlanta, their 2 rookie pass rushers have been very good. They're able to get after the passer. That we all know that Arizona cannot run the ball. They're going to drop back a ton with Brissett. I don't know if I love that if they're able to pin their ears back. Definitely if they get into a trailing game state. And yet Atlanta's a little leaky with their run defense, but Arizona, they cannot run the ball. So it's like you just become this one-dimensional team. And I don't love Atlanta's defense, but if you become one-dimensional passing the ball, I think they're able to. They have the type of pass rushers to pin their ears back and really make your life difficult. So, I lean a little bit towards Atlanta, but no play. But I agree that I don't love. You just can't pass. You can't pass the ball like 50 times a game and expect to win in the NFL. It doesn't work.
And they do it out of necessity. I mean, it's the thing with the Cardinals is that like every time they seem to seemingly get someone back, they like lose 3 more players in the next game. That's what it's been all year. And they're not even good anymore. Like losing Bilal Nichols is nothing anymore, but they already have defensive linemen on IR. They get probably Rabbit Taylor Demerson back in the secondary this week. Well, Max Melton's been out. Jalen Thompson's been out. Darren Hall, who plays like some corner, some safety for them, has a concussion. He's not practicing. So it just, it's just kind of spiraled to the point. And I really don't think the market ever really fully caught up to this. I think it's been pretty decent, stretch of time now where you could have bet against Arizona and made money.
Yeah. I also wonder with the injuries, because they've had so many, definitely the skill position and the secondary is like guys that are coming back. Like, do they come back a week early because it's been so thin? So like maybe they didn't get back to 95%. Maybe they're playing at 85 because like even when they come back, it's not like when is the last time you were like, hey, Arizona's starting to play well? Like, I don't think they've really been there. I know they're frisky because they run and Brissett's willing to make throws they throw a lot. And they're willing to make throws, but I don't never in my life was like, hey, this is a team that I think is going to like beat anybody that is decent. Just too many injuries to overcome and just not enough talent, plain and simple.
I'm with you. All right. We're going to talk primetime games in just 1 second here. Before we do, football's in full swing. You got basketball going every night. You got hockey going. If you're betting props seriously, this is when edges actually matter. Betstamp Pro's prop screen is built for people who treat this like an investment, not a hobby. It gives you a true line across 150 plus different books in seconds, so you can see where the market really is and which numbers are actually off. And that's how you scale instead of just guessing off of 1 or 2 different outs. Right now, NFL, college football, NBA props, even college basketball props are about as liquid and as sharp as they're going to get. If you don't have a clean, reliable, true price, you're just handing money back in vig and bad numbers. So if you want to take the prop market seriously, go to betstamp.com/hammer or scan the QR code on screen to apply for Betstamp Pro. I was part of building this product. I use it every single day. I firmly believe in it. Betstamp.com/hammer if you do want to check it out. Spots are limited, as always. I mean, we cap the amount of people so that all these edges aren't blasted. So if you've been thinking about it, now is the time. All right. Let's get into our primetime games. And let's go to Sunday Night Football. You got the Patriots, who haven't lost a road game this year, going on to Baltimore to take on the Ravens in an AFC battle. This one is truly interesting because there's a lot of moving parts to handicap right now. But as it stands in the market, pretty much all the 2.5s are gone. You're sitting Baltimore -3 everywhere. Total in the game somewhere in the 48.5 range. And I'm not going to lie to you, Austin. Like when you look at the price in this game, it almost feels like a snap pickup of the Patriots. But then I look at the injury report for the Patriots and I'm like, oh man, like this is bad. And on top of that, I don't know that there's a ton of incentive for them to win this game. I know that they're competing with the Broncos for the number 1 seed. Don't get me wrong, but it's really the Jets and Dolphins games they have to win down the stretch, and they win the division. So when I look at this now and I see guys Harold Landry not practicing, Robert Spillane, who was active last week but didn't play a snap, Carlton Davis, Marcus Jones, DNPs as well, that's starting to look like a potentially really bad defense this week.
Yeah, and to the point about the like situational spot is like they're getting the 1 seed for the Patriots is dependent on the Broncos need to lose again, and Jacksonville, they got to go to Kansas City. I know Mahomes isn't in, and then they have the Chargers. So it's not exactly like it could be feasible that the Broncos lose 2 games, and if the Patriots win the Jets and the Dolphins games, then they have a path to the 1 seed. So I'm with you. The injuries, man, like it's you're there. Like, do you like settle for the 2 seed type of thing and go? So I do have concern, like the run game. It was painful watching the Patriots. I did tweet out in the first half that I didn't understand the Bills money. And then Josh Allen said, hey, that's why I'm the reason. We'll take that. So there is concerns. The Patriots defense hasn't really been tested. The Patriots, like the run game is like, it hasn't been good all year, but Henderson's been so much better, but I still don't know if it's like a good run game. He's just like, it's just whether he hits an explosive or not. So Lamar's looked a little bit better too. Like a little bit, like I think his legs are getting there. I don't know if it's like, hey, back against the wall and we got to figure it out. So long-winded way of saying I don't have a ton in this game. The injuries make it a little bit harder for me and just more of, I guess, a wait and see with what we get with the injury report, because like Ronnie Stanley's, up in the air as well. So it's kind of on both sides that I don't know if I really love the Ravens offense without Stanley there, because the offensive line hasn't been amazing this year. And the way to attack the Patriots, as we saw in the second half of that game last week, is on the ground. And without Stanley, that would be a pretty big loss. So wait and see for me with this one until the injury report gets a little more clear.
I wonder if the over is going to end up being a good play here. I mean, it's a good point you mentioned about Ronnie Stanley, but it's also Kyle Van Noy dealing with a quad injury. Chidobe Awuzie left with a foot injury last week as well. Roquan Smith is banged up. Like when you're looking at where the majority of the injuries are in this game, it's significant pieces on the defensive side of the ball. Baltimore has a very clear path to success running the ball in this game. That's one thing. Since losing Milton Williams, the Pats run D has trended way down. If Spillane is not going to be out there in any capacity, that's a real advantage Baltimore can take advantage of. So, yeah, I mean, I could see myself getting involved in the over here tomorrow, depending on what the final injury report looks like. I'm not sure your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would lean that way. If like the upside, I get like where my numbers are finalized when you factor in the injuries, would definitely lean towards like a bigger swing that way. I don't know if like the unders probably never. And again, when you get into like when you factor those guys in and the clear path that Baltimore has running the ball, like it's just like it's like now the Patriots just always are going to have to score, because like, hey, if you can never stop the run, it's the same exact, like it could be the same exact game, not game script, but like, hey, get up 24/7 and blow it. But like the Bills they didn't even like have a chance to stop the Bills in the second half of that game last week. And obviously the Ravens have been a little bit worse on offense than the Bills this year, but like it's a very much similar style team. Like tight ends are going to be involved running the ball. I could see a similar path for the Ravens as the second half for the Bills last week.
All right. Monday Night Football spotlights the injury-riddled 49ers that are chasing some NFC seeding against Indianapolis, featuring 44-year-old Phillip Rivers in his second start back. Early money on San Fran, followed by some Colts movement today, and brought down to 5.5 in some spots, including at FanDuel. Total in the game, 46.5. I've gone back and forth on this one a lot, Austin, and probably ends up being a pass for me. If Bernard Raymond is in at left tackle for the Colts, I would probably scoop up any Indy sixes that are still out there. Phillip Rivers is obviously not a high ceiling quarterback at this stage, but this is like the exact kind of defense he can function against. San Fran's front is a shell of what it used to be. They're near the bottom of the league in pressure rate and sack rate. A lot of the looks are going to be similar to what we saw Seattle give Rivers last week, which is too high, rally to tackle. But the Colts, I think, can run the ball a lot better on this San Fran team than they could Seattle. And that's where I'm really struggling with this one.
Yeah, I think that's the difference, is the run game. And they obviously they had a chance to win that game last week. I don't know if they kind of caught them sleeping a little bit or like just didn't believe it. But when you play this funnel defense where you kind of keep everything in front, like that's kind of honestly perfect for Rivers, right? Like he obviously was still there mentally. Like I don't think he was really fooled by much that Seattle did. It was just like, I'm never going to be able to throw 20 yards over the middle of the field. Right. So it's limited that way. So like you said, your ceiling's not there, but like you're not going to get pressure. You're not like, he's not going to see pressure. The 49ers are not going to blitz either. They're not going to, like, Robert Saleh is not sacrificing explosives because the blitz might not even get home either. So it is very similar, but a much worse version than the Seahawks. So like kind of the second look for Rivers, I don't want to say like, oh, hey, he gets to fight off some rust or whatever. I don't know. The guy's, he looked fine-ish. Like I didn't think he was like terrified of anything last week. Like he wasn't good. I guess it was like, it wasn't a total disaster, I guess is the way that I'm saying it. So I would agree. Like, I think there's a path to where he can dink and dunk his way and kind of like keep the ball out of the 49ers offensive hands, which is going to play well to the +6 if they show back up.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, it's a 44-year-old quarter. What I remember most from last week's game was watching Rivers getting treatment on the sideline every single time he came off the field. You know, he's got guys massaging his back and whatever. And I get it. There's definitely opportunity for San Fran to win by margin here, but I think the biggest thing I've heard this week was like Robert Saleh, you know, they watched the game last week. They're going to take away the short stuff from Rivers, and they might. My educated guess is that they won't. They've just been playing very consistent on defense with not give up the big stuff. They know that they don't have the personnel in the front seven. Like you said, Austin, to even send blitzes and get home is challenging for them with the amount of players that they have out there. So, Colts 6, but really monitor that left tackle situation for them. We'll close off with Thursday night game tonight. The Rams headed to Seattle for this NFC West clash. We saw this game earlier this year, an ugly one, 21-19 for the Rams. Darnold threw 4 picks. Stafford threw 2. They had some issues traveling for the Rams yesterday. We've had all sorts of a variety of weather reports for Seattle tonight. It's currently pouring, but by the time the game starts, it might be clear. So maybe just a slog of a field. The wind is going to be strong, but I apparently a lot of people don't realize the way that the stadium is built for Seattle, where the wind doesn't have as much of an impact unless it's blowing end zone to end zone. So there's going to be a battle on this total, because I think maybe it might get back up towards game time as things look a little bit better. This number, though, Austin, has basically turned into Rams or nothing for me. And I'm just having that inner debate, because we already bet the under in this game on the Sunday reset. I got down some more on Monday. Could maybe look to middle it at this point. But now, man, where the Rams are being priced, I get it. No Devontae Adams, maybe no Braden Fiskey. The Charles Cross injury at left tackle for Seattle, I think, is going to be a really big blow for them in this game. Like, that's not a great offensive line against a very good defensive front.
Yeah, and I think we kind of still remember the early season Seahawks offense that is not there anymore. They cannot run the ball. And it was all like it was like Darnold was going to set records for like deep passing efficiency. And it was all play action, deep shots, and they were crushing teams. And now I think teams just adjusted to like, hey, they can't run the ball. And we're just going to, like, if they get 5-6 yards, cool, whatever, but they're not going to be able to consistently get that. So let's not give up those bombs. So like the offense has not been good for the last like month plus for the Seahawks. So that is the concern for me. Like, obviously you still have Puka Nacua, who's been in the news all this week as well, but like Matthew Stafford's still playing out of his mind. I also like more narrative based here, but like the second stab at it for McVay, like I don't think he gets like his lunch taken from him again. Like I think
Yeah.
McDonald did a really good job. I feel like that's going to change things. So I lean a little bit towards the over, a little bit towards the Rams as well. I think both of those things. I think like this offense without Devontae Adams is still good. Like it's just but they can run the ball too. Like that's the other thing that the balance of the Rams is the key. Where I don't think. I mean, I think there's an argument that like the Seattle can't run the ball, and if the run game's not going, I don't know how well they are through the like. Are they efficient through the air? No, it's like basically can you hit explosives? So I'm with you. I lean that way, but I'd probably more maybe a live over spot because the weather is supposed to be and the wind's supposed to die out through the games as well if it does come down to the field. But I'm with you. Rams and over would be a look for me at the current market prices.
I was just checking some limits at some of the sharp books, and we're up to like 110K on the side now. So I'm not sure I can necessarily pull the trigger there, but you know, the one thing I'll say about Seattle in particular with the offense with Kubiak is they were leaning into that play action, like you said, Austin, early in the year. And they were doing that with like heavy personnel on the field and teams were matching. And then as the year's gone on, they said, no. Seahawks can't run the ball. So we're not going to lean into matching your heavy personnel. We're just going to keep our nickel and dime units on the field for these plays. And they've not been able to throw it downfield since then. So that's a good point. I see a couple things in the chat about asking for anytime touchdowns on Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. Those are guys I've played on the pizza buffet a lot in recent weeks. So I have not run my numbers for the game yet. I will post them in our Discord, discord.gg/hammer. If you go over to the rolls section in the Discord, all you got to do is click on the football. And at any time I post my anytime touchdown scores, you'll get a notification for those. So if you want those, I will post them roughly at least half an hour to 45 minutes before game time. And they've done really well this year. Can't guarantee that going forward, but I'll get you my real numbers before the games start. All right. Quick review. Actually, before we get into a quick review, tonight we got Seahawks Rams here on Forward Progress. G-Stack George is steering the ship for the live watch along. No Dolphins costume for G-Stack tonight. I don't think he's dressing up as a ram or a bird either or anything like that. They're just saving those for me. But if you haven't seen those watch-alongs, I mean, they're pretty fun. You talk live betting angles, hang out with the chat for the entire game. That's right here. Forward Progress on YouTube. Hop into the watch-along. Ride Seahawks Rams with us live tonight. Okay, quick review of our hammer plays before we sign off here. For Austin, he is going Buffalo, Cleveland under 41.5 as his triple hammer, taking the Panthers, getting 3 at home, -110. And on Saturday night, he likes the Bears, -104. For myself, Jacksonville, Denver, over 46.5. My fair, listen, you could play that as 47. I would just reduce the risk on that as well, just because it's not widely available in market. Double hammer, I like the Dolphins. Think there's too much of an adjustment there. And single hammer, I'm taking the Falcons -2.5, -120. That's going to be it for us. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Big thank you to Austin. Hopefully Suuma gets better and he's back with us next week. To our producer today, Jason Cooper, behind the scenes, keeping the show running smooth. Nobody noticed a difference today. Good job, Jason, back there. We're back tonight for Thursday Night Football. I will see you back here Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time for the Pizza Buffet. If you enjoyed the show, smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, all that jazz. Good luck with your bets this week, everyone. Peace out.